Be courageous and be bold. Be brave enough to be yourself and go after the things that bring you joy. Let your light shine. Chase after your dreams and have the courage to follow your passions. Because together, we can accomplish anything.
Hey guys, welcome to the I Am Mom Summit. My name is Andrésha De Bourg. I am the creator of Mommy Inspires, a speaker, YouTuber, and a mother of 3. What Mommy Inspires is, it's basically a platform for mothers, well, all women in general, to come together and express their daily sacrifices, take an emotional vacation, and be able to just express themselves without judgment. I'd really love for women to be able to also tap into their feminine energy. But to move along, I'm going to be talking about a life of nurturing. For some reason, we think that nurturing and motherhood is just simply taking care of our children, making sure they're fed, clothed, a roof over their heads, and hugs and kisses, right? But motherhood is so much more than that. Motherhood is really anything that you give your time to, anything that you commit to, anything that you love on, you connect with, pour into. So, there are women who can't have children, so we don't want to forget about them. And I'm going to talk about the different things that I nurture in my life. Number one is, I said I was a mother of 3, and my children are 10, 7, and 4. Now, when I said I'm a mother of 3, my 4-year-old is not a physical being. It's actually my brand, Mommy Inspires. This is something that I pour into. I birthed it. I created it. This is not something that I just did because I wanted to gain followers or likes or anything like that. I actually wanted to help the community of women. So I'm going to explain how I nurture my brand. So starting back in 2015, I want to say, I was into children's fashion styling. I'm still into fashion. I'm in the fashion world, industry. But I started with children's fashion, and I would post my children all dressed up on social media. And I would get a lot of likes and comments and different things like that. And one day I heard about this event that happens 2 times a year. It's called New York Fashion Week. And I wanted to attend so bad. I wanted to attend these shows. I wanted to build my connections. So one year, I would say about 2 to 3 years ago, I would stand outside of New York Fashion Week. I would go in the area of New York Fashion Week with my children, dressed up. We're all dressed up, and we would hand out my business cards. And literally we stood out in the snow, a snowstorm actually, and handed out my business cards because we couldn't get in the show. So fast forward 2 to 3 years later, I now attend New York Fashion Week, and I sit front row during these shows. So that's just one way that I pour into my brand. There's other things that I do. I've worked with companies just by being consistent. I've worked with companies like Puma, Reeboks, Pantene Pro V, a whole bunch of companies, and they will send me clothing and different things like that to post on social media. But this is just an idea of how you can actually pour into your brand. Motherhood doesn't necessarily mean that you have a physical baby, but it could really just be, like I said, anything that you give your time to. So, I look at my brand as my child, my baby. This is something that I just can't give up on, right? So to move along, what is a life of nurturing to you? To me, it is nurturing my children, nurturing my relationships, nurturing my brand, nurturing myself, right? So I'm going to talk about how I nurture my children because, well, this is a tough one because each individual child is different. They're so different from each other, and we think that we're just supposed to parent the way that we have it set up in our minds. But when you have a child, you realize that you have to parent them differently. They know your love language. They know how you respond to things. But at the end of the day, you still have to parent them differently because they all think differently. So with my 10-year-old, for instance, his name is Taraj. He is not the same from when he was a newborn to a preschooler to now a fourth grader. And as his mother, I have to constantly adjust and adapt to who he's becoming, right? Because now he's 10 and he has his own opinion and he knows it all. So, I have to try to figure him out. And, that actually has been a little struggle for me because he sometimes gets, I want to say, stuck in corners where he doesn't really want to talk, but you can tell that there's something on his mind. And I want to say that children aren't actually judging us. They just want to know that you care, right? And sometimes as mothers, we get in these moods or, and we're just like, the kid is talking too much. I don't want to be bothered today, not today. But the more you do it, the more you say you don't feel like being bothered, the more they're going to get distant from you. And you're going to have to, it's hard to regain, that relationship that you once had. So this is something that I'm going through as we speak. I communicate more with my children. Communication is key in any relationship. And I just communicate. I always try to figure out what it is that, what's going on in their minds. What are they thinking about? How are they feeling? And even if you don't feel as though you agree with what they like, still give an interest in it anyway. Because like I said, children just want to know that they are loved. And, who doesn't want to know that they are loved? They want to know that they're loved. They want to know that their parents actually care, and they can sense things. We think, oh, they're just kids, it's not a big deal, but they know they are perfect little spiritual beings. But anyway, to move along, with my daughter Skye now, she will be 8 in July, and she's a different kind of child. So she's one of those kids who learns through, let's say, being creative, learns through music and, more so hands-on. Whereas my son, he can just pick things up on a drop of a dime. He's just like, oh, I know. And with my daughter, it's a little more extra work that you have to put into because she will easily get distracted. So I constantly keep pouring into her. She's faced some bullying a couple of years in preschool and kindergarten, and that was a time for me as her mother to take action. She faced bullying because of her natural hair, and I had to figure out a way to build her confidence back up, because of course this was a blow to her self-esteem. So what we did was every morning we would have a chat and we would talk about the things that she shouldn't really worry about, and how we can better build her self-esteem. So every morning chats, I would allow her to wear whatever she wanted. Even if she looked a little silly, I would allow her to wear whatever she wanted, style her hair any way she wanted, and she would go to school feeling much more confident. And this went on for about, a month, I want to say. And now it inspired her to build her, she's a mini entrepreneur. It inspired her to build her own hair accessory line. One day she was like, Mommy, I want to lock my hair. And she was like, I think that it would really help in my, self-confidence and, my self-esteem. And I was just like, I don't know about that. But, she was persistent. She really wanted to do it. And she kept reminding me, Mommy, I really want to do it. I hope you let me do it. So one day, a year later, I was like, okay, what's the big deal? It's just hair. I don't want to make a big deal out of it. So we locked her hair, and she came out with a hair accessory line, and here she comes up the stairs right now. How are you? What's going on? It's actually our homeschool hour, so the children might be interrupting me as we speak. So anyway, you want to say hello? Say hi.
Hi.
Oh, you shook the camera. Okay. Give me what do you need? Nothing? You just wanted to see what I was doing?
Yeah.
Okay. So she came out with her own hair accessory line, and the purpose of it was to help other little girls build their self-esteem if they have ever faced bullying. So, you know, constantly pouring into your children is important. Pouring into your relationships, you know, any relationship that you may have, whether it's a friendship, you know, your relationship with your husband, your wife, whoever it is, it's important. And nurturing is not just about who you give your time to, or who you nurture, but also who you receive nurturing from. Because, yes, child number one, no, Taraj, what happened? Go ahead, eat a bagel. Oh, where was I? Oh, nurturing relationships. So also who you get your nurturing from, you know, matters too, because sometimes we give, and we forget about ourselves. And actually, my hubby had to do a lot of pouring into me just the other day, because I was just like, I was losing my mind. I'm such a perfectionist, and I was like, I don't know if I can make this video. Like, I have this conference to do, and I just can't do it. Like, it's so hard for me. I'm such an introvert, and like, talking in front of the camera for X amount of time is just too much. And he was just like, listen, you're doing too much right now. Calm down. You got it. You always hit it out of the park. So just do what you do, and, you know, like, just take a break for a minute and try again. So, you know, that's important, you know, loving on each other, the people that you are surrounded, you know, with. And, you know, the way that we nurture, my hubby and I, the way we nurture our relationship, basically, we always try to, we look for a moment, because he works overnight. And if you guys have a husband, you know, or a wife who works all the time, you'll know that, you know, it's hard to see them and make time, especially when you have children. It's just like, oh, my kids. I want to make sure that they're doing good, right? So, you know, you almost never have time for each other. And when you finally do spend time, you're spending time as a family. So it's never just you and your significant other. So what we do is, you know, sometimes he comes home at 5 o'clock in the morning because he works in the middle of the night. So he'll come home, and I'll try to set an alarm because I know he's going to come home. And maybe when he gets home, we'll watch a movie, or we'll just talk. Or even sometimes when we wake up in the morning, we will chat for hours, because some mornings I just say, listen, my kids can make their own breakfast. I'm not doing it today. And it's okay. You know, that's a part of nurturing too. Like, it's okay to say, today I don't feel like it. I just don't feel like it today. And you got it. You teach your children, oh, just pop something in the toaster, some waffles or whatever, you know, you teach them. And that doesn't mean that they're on their own, but on the days that you just can't, you know, it's okay to say, I can't today, you know, I deserve me time today, and I just want them to sit in front of the TV today and, you know, just leave me alone. So yeah, that's how we make time for each other. You know, we try to, if we go out as a family, maybe to the park, we'll have a picnic, and we'll let the kids go run and play while we're communicating with each other and constantly nurturing each other and pouring into each other. So it's important to, you know, pour into each other and see how your relationships, can blossom. And most of all, this part is crucial. This is something that is the most important. I'm going to say, and I can't stress it enough, nurture yourself. That comes first before anything, because if you aren't pouring into yourself, you can't be good for anyone else. You know, you don't know, you don't really have an idea of who you are, who you was created to be. And, you know, it's hard to build relationships when you can't even figure yourself out. You know, I've dealt with that. I've dealt with, you know, depression, postpartum depression, and all these different things, all these different titles that they like to put on us. I've dealt with all of that, and I didn't learn I didn't know how important it was to nurture myself until I actually had my daughter. And I began to breastfeed. Now, with my first child, with my son, I didn't breastfeed him, but with Skye, I actually breastfed her. And that's when I realized how important it is to nurture myself and take care of myself. Because for some reason, we like to think that breastfeeding is just nurturing our baby, right? But breastfeeding is also nurturing mom too. You know, it's a bonding experience for the two of us, for the both of us. And we don't want to forget that part. You know, energy is being transferred and it's a cycle. It's a going in circular motion. So we do not want to forget that. You know, and a life of nurturing has something to do with embracing your scars. Embracing your scars, is all healing. It's all a part of the healing process. So how do I embrace my scars? Now, scars could be physical because sometimes we'll look at our bodies, right, and say, well, I have these stretch marks and I just hate it. You know, my body is ugly. I don't want to show it to my husband and all these different things. I don't want to wear a bikini on the beach, you know, but with me more so, my outer being has never been a problem for me. I do have stretch marks and, you know, I do have scars, but the physical has never really affected me. It was more so internally, what I would deal with internally. So, you know, whether it was negative thoughts, fears, and doubts, you know, just being grumpy all the time because of things that may have happened to me in my past that I never really have gotten over. So I had to go on a soul search. Soul searching is so important because once you find out who you are, it becomes beautiful. It becomes a beautiful experience. Now, what did I do while I was soul searching? Well, it was long. Soul searching, when you soul search, it's like an isolation phase. You disconnect from the world, from your friends, your family, you know, and I mean, of course you can't disconnect from your children and your husband, but I just mean the ones who do not live in your household. You disconnect and you take time for yourself. So I unplugged from social media. I didn't watch TV and I only listened to music that was made for meditation, or just positive sounds, right? Sounds of the ocean and different things like that. I would take hot showers. I would do facials. All self-care routines was important to me during my, you know, isolation phase, during my period of embracing my scars, and who I was that made me who I am today, whether that was positive or negative traits. So, you know, I would always suggest to do they say do what you love what you do. And, you know, I stick to that 100%. I do not forget about me because we spend so much time taking care of other people that it's easy to forget. I homeschool and I literally forget to eat sometimes because so much is going on. I have 2 children to homeschool and I'm like, oh my God, I'm juggling so much. I don't know, like, you know, and it was kind of hectic for me. And I was just like, one day I said to myself, okay, enough is enough. It's time to buckle down and get this on the right track. So one day I was just like, you know what? We're going to take a break from this homeschool thing and I'm going to sit down. I'm going to make me a lunch. I'm going to, you know, read the Bible because I am spiritual. I do read the Bible, but whatever floats your boat, you know, whatever you like to do. This is just examples of something that can help you. So I was just like, yeah, I'm going to light a candle. I'm going to read the Bible and I'm just going to study a little bit and just, you know, try to quiet my mind, meditate. And I made the kids a lunch. I made them, you know, little snacks and gave them a bowl of chips and all this stuff. And I sat them in front of the TV. I put a movie on and I let them do their thing watch that movie for an hour so I could have an hour to myself. And then we got back to work. You know, it's so important to take that time for yourself. I go on walks and connect with nature. You know, whatever it is that you love, I draw, You know, I draw pictures, I listen to music, I love to dance around my house, and self-care is also taking care of your outer being, you know, moisturizing, doing your hair. You know, I would dress myself up to make, you know, even if I wasn't going anywhere, I would get dressed up in the house to feel more beautiful, because I'm a stay-at-home mom and I don't get out the house much. So I try to, you know, feel alive as much as possible. So yes, this is definitely important. A life of nurturing is a beautiful thing, and tapping into your feminine energy is also a very beautiful thing. You know, when you give out, it comes back to you tenfold. I mean, it comes back to you in ways that you couldn't even imagine. So, you know, I hope this video helped, and I thank you guys for watching and joining us during this I Am Mom Summit. And I will, if you want to connect with me and you want to see what I have coming on my journey, just reach out to me you can check me out on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Yes, at Mommy Inspires. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.